Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of CovInspiration with Dayo Israel. I've been enjoying T.Y. Bello since yesterday, especially the songs. We are the nation, we are the future, we are the dream. Enjoy with me. Seems that we are failing, we have just begun to go out of the way. We are the things. We are the future, we are violence. The future is in you. 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 And in helping us to shape that future this evening is a mother. As a matter of fact, she's the first woman. Okay, no, we had said. She is an amazing mother, a warrior, a fighter, a veteran, an indomitable lion. The woman that treads where men are scared to move. She's no other person than Dr. Joe Odumakin. It's good to see you, Doctor. How are you doing, man?
Fine, my pleasure. Great Dayo Israel.
Thank you, mommy. You know, when I saw your pictures on your Instagram page, I saw the picture of you in the 90s when you were still in the trenches. You know, very slim, very simple. One would have thought that, you know, this was a weak woman, but you were facing Abacha. You were the Deputy Secretary General of the major civil society union at that. How did you even imagine getting into the struggle? How did you even get in the struggle in the first instance? At that age, being a woman with that kind of stature that you have.
In fact, growing up, I never thought that I would become an activist. I was brought up in a family and I just
Sorry, I don't know if I have challenge with my network or it's Dr. Odumakin. Can you guys please confirm if you can see me or if you can see her? Because it's not showing here. Please confirm, guys. Okay, I think we lost at least the internet. In the meantime, let's keep enjoying T.Y. Bello. So let me tell you the part I love about this song. It's the part says, how can they say that we are finished when we have just even begun? We have not even begun. You know, I'm enjoying this T.Y. Bello thing. Yeah, let's play it again. Let's do it again. While we're waiting for Dr. Joe to come back. Oh yeah, guys, wait. Sorry, my own internet is having an issue. We are the dream. Can you hear the song, guys? We are and they say that we are feeling, we have just begun. Sorry guys, Dr. Joe is going to come back. Due to network. We just lost her, but she'll be right back. Out of the way. We are the we are the nation, we are part of them. Don't go anywhere, please. Dr. Joe Odumakin will be with us. Our network just screamed off. but I'm sure that she's going to join us back now. Please bear with us. I think our internet just switched off. But while we're waiting for her to back,
Uh, I this food.
hello, ma. I think there's an internet challenge on your side.
No, I have two different over here, and I don't really know what happened.
Yes, ma.
So, but
Okay, ma. You were telling us, ma,
can
about
you
your
hear now?
family. Yes, I can hear you, ma. You were telling us about your
Yes.
family.
So, yes. So we all sat down. We were waiting for my dad to call. The analog phone rang. As a rang, my dad said, "My darling daughter, you don't want to procreate. I will disown you." So I told Miss Tira and then Father Kelly that what my dad said. He said, "Don't bother, it's just your earthly father. You should get worried when your heavenly father says he will disown you." After that, my dad got back from the UK and then we all sat down. My dad then said, "Well, do you still want to go to the seminary?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, not only will I do it, but I'll print your obituary." I was just too young. My dad said, when I'll be seen, they will think it's a ghost spirit. People will run from me. So I didn't go back to the Reverend Father. Why did I go back to the sister? So I just made up my mind. I said that I'm going to further my studies. And that was how my dad, I mean, I'm just trying to fast track to tell you how the activism in me got wired up. So my dad took me to School of Basic Studies, Kwara State College of Technology. And then Dr. Acho, the director of School of Basic Studies. So the director said, "She's a very brilliant girl. Okay, she'll be given admission." My dad said, "She will have to live in your house so that you can monitor her for me." So at the end, just to fast track for admission, I started living with Dr. Acho, the director, and then the wife started taunting me. "Look at her, stupid girl. You want to go?" I was there for about a week. It was just like heaven. It was like hell for me. So at the end, I had to I had to go and meet my dad in the office. I said, "Dad, please, I want to go to the hostel. I'll no longer go to seminary." My dad then took me to the hostel. So what I would be doing, what I was doing there was clocking in and out. I would go and sign in the morning at Dr. Acho's office. I'm present in the evening. I will sign out. Then I'll go back to my hostel. So after sometimes I told my dad, I said that I'd made up my mind I will not go back to seminary school. So one day there was one left-wing movement, Rethink Nigeria. I saw it on a notice board. So I went for the meeting. I got there. There was no opening or closing prayer. And that was 1982, 83, at Kwara Police School of Basic Studies. So I said on the agenda, you people did not do opening or closing prayer. Without prayers, I can't attend the meeting. So who brought this girl here? This thing, they are talking about serious issues. This thing is out. So I took my books, I left. So one of our comrades, Akongbe, Godwin Akongbe, saw me and said, Reverend Sister, come for next meeting. We are going to put prayer on the agenda. So I said, okay. I went again. This time they were so violent with me, threw me out. I had to walk back to the hostel without shoes. So I just made up my mind that I'll forget about it. So when I finished, I got admission to ABU Zaria, my first choice. But my dad did not want me to go to Zaria because when in Lorraine, he just wanted me to go to be close by. So University of Lorraine was my second choice. And I was taking the study English education. My brother told me, "Don't worry, let him train you. After your first degree, you go to seminary." So I said, okay. So I got to the university. One day, a lecturer, Professor Obafemi, discovered that somebody scored high marks in his test, gave us test that time. And then my matriculation number was called. So I went to see staff. He said, "Are you not the Reverend Sister?" I said, "Yes." "Are you a staff? Be confident." "What? You scored very well." Yes, be confident. I said, yes. So he gave me books as I started reading. But one of the quotations that changed me, that wired up the change in me, was while I was going through the autobiography of Martin Luther King. One of the quotations that our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. So after that, I just felt that I'll, I started reading books, all sorts of quotations, from Karl Marx, philosophers of interpreted was growing. So that was how I became very, very active as an undergraduate. We had women in Nigeria. Then I became the secretary. From there to I became the chairperson. That was how I started. And after that, I went for my youth service at 35 Battalion in Barracks. I was teaching the soldiers. Yeah. So teaching them. When I completed my service, I got admission to Unica and the University of London. I came back for my master's, and that was where we had Committee of Human Rights, 1989. Dr. Babx, one day, Comrade Dayo Israel, the chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, somebody called. He said his name is Bekor and Committee. So I then came the next day because there was no, all we had was analog phone. So I went back to his office the next day to the call. So Bekor asked if I could come to Lagos. And I had to travel the next day by road.
How did he hear about you? How did he hear about you?
We had, they distributed some leaflets. So I signed the leaflets as the coordinator of women in Nigeria. So I signed the leaflet, and then they also had, before Committee for Defense of Human Rights was launched, it was that leaflet that he saw, and he saw Joe OK, and then from Kwara. So I think he was able to trace the chairman of the Congress then, Comrade Dayo Israel. So they called him, and that one sent a message through somebody to me on campus. So I came to receive the call, and he asked me, as Dr. Bekor, if I will come to Lagos. And I said, yes. I was so excited. And that was how he told me from Ilorin, gave me an appointment. He said, you must be in my office 4 o'clock. I said, okay. So getting to the motor park, dropping at Ojota, going to Trace Anthony Village. I got to his office 4:30, and I packed his books. He had an appointment with Gani Power in me. And I said, Doctor, no. I gave you 4 o'clock appointment. So that was how I called Chief Gani Power in me. And then when he called him, he said, I have a young girl with me that would love to see you. Can I come with her? Chief said, yes. So that was the first time I was seeing Gani. Got to his chambers, came out, feeling pumped. He came, he welcomed us. After welcoming us, I got to his office, I sat down, I saw lots of books. Gani was quoting, it's so thorough. And then at the end, Bekor said, young girl, are you returning to Ilorin? I said, Doctor, it's already 5 o'clock. He said, because I want to go and see my brother Fela. I said, Fela.
Wow.
I always listen to his music. I said, I want to go. That was how Doctor drove his Volvo, and then we went to see Fela. And getting there was looking at everywhere. Fela was with one of the wives. His pint was down. I was just wondering, is this the Fela I always listen to? So entered. Fela said, waiting be your name. I said, my name na Joe Fela. I said, that one no be name. Wait, your native name. Gong. So I said, Obi Ajolo. He said, what's the meaning? I told him. He said, now that won't be name. So by the time we finished, things about military dictatorship, we were there for roughly close to 10 minutes. But by the time I finished, because there's no quotation that I did not know in the Bible. I always try to read the Bible like 2 times in a year. So what I read in the Bible, I thought rapture had taken place. The whole building was turning up. I couldn't, when I stood up from where fella was talking to me, I fell down. I couldn't even go downstairs. God, rapture. Until one of the wives came and said, now only match you get, come on, smoke. Your eye don't they turn why. So she gave me my eye clear. So those things, wired up that change. That was how I finished my master's and started my PhD. And then from Committee for Defense of Human Rights, we had Campaign for Democracy in 91. I was the treasurer, and we had a few lecturers, Professor Babx, Olayemi, the Chokbo Junai Professor Umiraji. We had a lot of them. I mean, some of them were my colleagues and some were lecturers. So we started Campaign for Democracy, and then later on, I became a national officer. We're always organizing programs in the lorry, and people will come, who Chibola Ige to Lorry, Bekon and some Freddy Fast, Ganifawe. So, and then we took like the Jehovah Witness approach. I was always going from one course to the other, school for the deaf and blind, several schools having series of mobilization and awareness. So when we had campaign for democracy, when campaign for democracy started off, I was the treasurer. After that, secretary chairperson, and then before I became a national officer. So we had military dictatorship, which we felt was an aberration. And the law is not like Lagos. So if anything happens, one can easily be caught. In fact, while going to hiding, you just either be caught by DSS, they were called SSS then, or the police. So, but it was as if, all the things I did then. In fact, right from the time I gave my life to the struggle, I became very, very active in the struggle. My will was written by Barrister BC Atolagbe. So I had mattress and books. I think one mattress and few books, and I said, if anything happens to me, will those mattress to more or less my books to University of London Library. So that committee there, and then later on, I mean, when you want me, I can tell you some of the clothes, shape and how we did that.
I'm going to come to that. Before I go to that, I want to take you through the phase that we've just learned about. So it's appropriate if I call you Reverend Sister Joe.
and if anyone calls me Reverend, I'll just know that person must have been my class or university. Yes.
Wow. So in the first instance, we're also going to serve humanity through God, but now you're still serving God through humanity. So you're still service to God in all the ways. And it was through this, it was through this process. I was wondering, are you Yoruba? Because you live in Kwara, you studied in Kwara, but yet you are Igbo.
Yes, I was
born as Kwara.
Yes, I was born as Zaria, and my dad was working with the northern Nigeria, because our first born Medugri, second one Sokoto, myself Zaria, my younger brother Kaduna. So my dad was in the northern. It's something they call change of service. So my dad to willingly change from northern Nigeria to Kwara. So yes, so the early part of my life, like my primary school, I was in the north till primary 3, 4, and then we moved to Ilorin in Kwara State, where I had all my education. Then my youth service, Calabar, and even my dad that threatened to disown me and everything. When he was arrested like 3 times, And one of the times he was arrested, my brother called me. That is, he's been detained. They said if you don't show up, they won't release him. And I said I won't show up. So where I was very far anyway. That was why my mom would say, "You will have allowed this girl to be a remains." I look at now because I was living with them. There's people come, they would turn our whole house upside down. So
Wow.
until I told my dad that I was not happy the way they were troubling them, that he should pay for a place for me off campus. So my dad got a 3-bedroom flat for 120,000 then. And that was where I had not less than 30 guys living in my flat with me. Anybody that
Wow.
was to have problems, anyone, can come there. We were 3 before. Myself, Jumoke, Dolapo. But the day they arrested everybody, those ladies cried. And I said, please release them. So at the end,
Wow.
after the 4th day, when we were released, those 2 ladies packed their load and left. So we housed like 20 guys. And all of us will be there, we sleep, we cook, we read, we go and paste posters, we go for protests, and if cultism was rampant then, we always dressed in black. So from 1 a.m. we move around and be pasting posters. But when such things want to happen, tell them, let only me go, so that if anything happens, we tell them that was the last place to stop. So,
Mama, where did you find your courage from? Where did you get this boldness to be doing those things?
Yeah, you see, growing up, my mom as a princess from Iselupu. So she was the daughter of Obiodo, a princess. So each time, I would watch her, she would settle quarrels. Then at the end, coming back to Kwara State, to stay with my dad, some of the civil servants come. And coupled with that, I also read a lot of books about the struggle. Rosa Parks that paid to keep said Amaka Cabra that said it's not interested in what people have in their heads, but I translate positively the lives of our people. And then every onlooker transforms is either a coward or a traitor. And our Price says, what says TRAITOR, but what we do for the world, remains, and several other. So all those things,
Every
embolden me.
onlooker is either a coward
or a traitor.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yes. And then the worthiness of life is deep rooted in the service of mankind. If one dies in the process, he or she becomes a martyr. So those were things that wired up the change in me. So
Doctor, when you go around, we've been at a lot of events together, and when you go around, people don't know the story behind Joe. Okay, they just see, yeah, she's getting awards here, Obama is greeting her, yeah, she fought in the struggle, but people didn't have all of these details that we have the privilege to be hearing tonight. Did you ever meet MKO?
Yes, I met MKO 4 times. Yes,
wow, tell us about those experiences, those encounters.
The first time I ever met MKO, after the annulment of the election, like I told you that it's always very, very, I will tell you I met MKO, but one thing made me leave alone that time. Each time they come, they will arrest me. But my landlord then told me that, okay, after harassment, and then my landlord returned my rent, 120,000 allergy, and said I leave his house. And I was wondering, I don't want to go back to my parents' house. I don't want to keep disturbing people. So what will happen? So the landlord left. Elijah came the next day and said, oh, my child, my daughter, you are here to pay your rent. And I said, I have 120,000 here, man. So I gave her. She said, thank you. She prayed for me. So at night, I thought the security people had come to arrest me again. We were just hearing noise everywhere. What happened? So I peeped through the window. I saw my landlord was moving out of his house to become a tenant elsewhere. Moved a block of 6. So the landlord moved out, left his place for. So I thought about it. I felt very sad, very elderly man. So I decided to return to Lagos. So getting to Lagos, I went to Dr. Obe Lawanson Weldone. I've had a series of events together. So the annulment came. And then doctor told me, Beko, we'll call him BRK, Babx Lawanson Weldone. He said he wanted to go and see MKO Abiola as after the annulment. So I went with him. He drove his car. We got to his house. When MKO came out, MKO said, how are you, young girl? So he asked me a few questions. And then he asked me what I was doing. So I told him that I'd left Ilorin. I want to Lagos. He said, can you drive? I said, I used to drive my dad's car in the north. He said, he took me out to the doctor. So he started showing me some cars. Which one would you like? So the doctor said, this is not what we have come for. We have come to discuss. He said, no, this one is also serious. It's not every time that you should, she can drive. So let her take one of the cars. Let her take one of the cars and I give her what she need to fuel it in her lifetime. So the doctor said, Chief, maybe that will be another today, not today, not today. So him, someone so caring, detailed, very witty, full of proverbs, extremely brilliant, and humble before. So, yeah, a great philanthropist like him, that he was so humble that he held my hand and he said, you know, I mean, Dayo, that's one thing about me. One lesson I've learned, if people see me around now, see me with a media director, you see him with camera, you see, I missed so many things that were not documented. I mean, look at the day I saw fella at the time I met MKO. It was my very first time that we came inside the house. So, talking about how the mandates will be actualized. So, after discussing, you know, a few days, and MKO left the country. So the second time I was seeing MKO was when he returned from the country, and I went there to see Tom. So when he came, I was just even so angry that why should MKO leave the country? So when he came, he said, was not the girl I saw that day, Job or Job. So I said, yeah, he said, I'm angry with me. I said, Chief, that's you thought that you would stay when you leave the country. He said, see me the way you are seeing me now, be thinking that you are seeing a corpse. He said to himself that he's a corpse now, and a corpse cannot run away from the corpse cannot run away from the taker. And that mandate he has come, and no matter what, he never betrayed the Nigerian people. And seeing level of commitment, seeing someone who said he was ready to give up his life, talking with such passion and commitment. I didn't doubt any single moment that all he was saying, you know, was factual. So it positively affected my thinking and my life. So that was the second. That was the second time, and then third time was shortly before he declared himself as before he declared. Yes, but before then, when we came, he said, if in case he declares himself as president, that there's someone who will participate in all our struggles. So that person came down, and lo and behold, very, very pretty lady, very calm, gorgeous. I said, so that was the day I Elijah Kudirat Abiola shortly before declaration at Ekwetedu. So, and during the declaration, the crowd was much. By the time we first came, people were saying, "Oh, people are traveled again." So, Dr. Pekoran Zanguti left well, but the crowd was much. It was later that he moved because while he was going for the declaration, I just missed him up because the crowd was much. But I saw him briefly. That was the time. However, I just thought that see him again, I would see him as the president. And so that was how it kept on with Elijah Kudirat Abiola. Were very close, did a lot of things together. I slept in Elijah Kudirat's house on June 3rd, 1996. And let me even tell you, when I was going for my PhD defense, then I was declared wanted. They were looking for me everywhere. Elijah Kudirat Abiola with Dr. Freddy Fasio were the ones that told me that go to Ilorin and defend your PhD thesis. And it's opportunity. So it wasn't that I was scared of being arrested or anything. That was March 1996. So I had to guys took public transport and went, defended my thesis. After my defense, because I'm fast tracking now because of time, after the defense, I went, changed because I had to disguise. But they arrested me at the motor park, put me at the back of the booth, told me to SSS headquarters. I was there, SSS in Ilorin. I was there for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Wow.
And after to Abuja. So when I was eventually released, I came back to Lagos to meet Kudirat Abiola. So we had lots and lots of things to do together. But on June 3rd, I passed my on June 3rd. So on June 4th, 1996, we had an appointment for 4 o'clock, another one for 5 o'clock. But Kudirat Abiola was going to keep another appointment. So I got from the car and I went. I had this mobile 090 number. It wasn't quite long, maybe 10 minutes. That phone rang and they said they had shot Kudi. I was raced to hospital. Then
Wow.
So those were some of the the few things that I had with Yola, with Kudirat Abiola. Kudirat, there are people training her, and that no matter what, if she be killed because of June 12th, I said she be ready down her life. And going, times we have one protest in Yaba, Amota, people were there, field is, capacity. And a lot of people that were expected to be at the forefront did not show up. Elijah Kudirat Abiola was there, and she said, if anyone wants to kill her, he can kill her. So she always plays on common courage at the barricades, and that's special about Elijah Kudirat Abiola. But unfortunately, so.
Doctor, I'm teary. I am, the kind of stories you hear and you're just remorse about the price that people have paid for the democracy that we enjoy. All of the stories you share with us, there are very few people in my generation who are aware of these stories. And when we are not aware of the prices you have to pay, we cannot appreciate the sacrifices that you have made, and we cannot sufficiently protect the democracy that you have so good for. I want to go into your detention. You were detained nothing less than 17 times. But I heard that it was during this process that you also met your husband. Can you take us through some of those, leading into how you met your husband and how you became power couple?
Okay. Still in Ilorin, Kwara State, I led a protest. We were first having a meeting. Then, Comrade Bisi Fakorede was the NLC chairman. So we're meeting in his office, and the security people came around, arrested like 4 or 5 of us. Community faculty was not around. So each time any arrest takes place, I will just tell them that I'm responsible. Please, can you leave the remaining people and let them go? But at times it's very difficult to leave them. But when they are off release, they will keep me. So I was detained. After my detention, sorry, one thing I didn't even say was that after my detention, I went again organize another protest. So while we're organizing that protest, that was in 1992. I was putting on a long skirt, and while addressing the rally, the policemen, security people started chasing us. So one of them kicked me with from underneath. So as soon as he kicked me inside the gutter, and then everybody ran away. So when they brought me out from the gutter, my skirt was already torn. So I saw half of someone selling something, so I tied it, and I was bleeding seriously. So by the time they were not concentrating again, I was smuggled. I went to the hospital for some stitches. There, they came to that hospital, and then that hospital was around Heranway. I think it's Olariwaju Hospital, one of these hospitals. So they took me from that place and detained me. So while I was in detention, my dad was called. And then my dad, I was very, very sick because I was seriously beaten and I had pains everywhere. Maybe it was my head I hit inside that gutter, but I had serious pains everywhere. So my dad came, my temperature was very, very high, and it told my dad to sign an undertaking that I'll be of good behavior. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, you have other children. If I die, just, but don't ever sign anything for me. So my dad looked at me, his eyes were very, very red. My mom came. Even the clothes that they brought for me to change, they didn't allow them to take it. So my parents left. After they left, I was admitted in the clinic, police clinic. So they were giving me drips, and they were asking me, so who is sponsoring? They asked me so many questions there. I refused to answer. So they violently removed the drip, plastered the hand, and then my dad came again. So he said, this is the last time. Your dad is going to sign. I said, please, please, don't. So they told my dad that I'll be released. My dad then left. As soon as he left, they took me, handcuffed me, threw me at the back of the vehicle. I saw my dad up with my mom. So that was how we decided driving recklessly. And I said, if anything happens, all of us will die together. So when I was sandwiched like 8 of them, armed to the teeth. They thought that they have seen a armed robber or something. Were cursing me, saying not. By the time I just tell them that, don't waste the bullet, just give me one. I'm ready. Give me one. Say this don't smoke. This up. So we drove. When we got to Lagos first, I was taken to Bansi. Yeah, I was taken to Bansi. So I stayed in Bansi. Then the next day, they took me to Alagbon. I was very, very sick. And I had some, so I'm not very big. I was so tiny then.
I saw the pictures. I saw the pictures.
Dayo, one of my detention in SSS headquarters in Maitama, when the director saw me, said, this thing, a bit fatter than a mosquito, is the one disturbing our government. So that was how I was then taken to Alagbon. So while I was there, I was handcuffed, and then my legs, so I was moving. So Chief Gani Fahimi was also detained. Gani came and they were taking him to interrogation. He saw me, said, why are you treating this girl like this? We don't remove the handcuff. We don't remove. So they said, Chief, please face yourself. No. They refused. So they removed the ones on my legs, then remained the ones on my hands. So he saw one, said, Nika, don't you know this girl? He said, which girl? Said that one in Kwara, that is based in Kwara. He said, Kwara. Yeah, Joe. He said, Joe, is Joe not a man? Also, he's a woman. So after that, I left. They took me for interrogation. Then I was in cell one, and then they were downstairs. There were so many there, and that's the cell experience. Another terrible thing, but that one is a story for another day. So because you're asking that, how did you meet? So that was how Chief Ganipa and me in car were detained, and after that they were released. So it was only me that they kept there. So Inca will come to check me. And after checking me, yes, Oluwatope Lawanson, thank you. Thank you. Great. So after it will come and check me. After checking me, I will say, aren't you scared? Why are you coming to look for me? So after 2 weeks, I was released. And then during protest, he will care because it was like a male dominated yes, organization. So during protest, he will care. When they tear gas us, he will hold my kerosene, oh, my handkerchief. So from, I remember Ni Babade covering, some of those are protests. There was one time I had to scale the fence of country club when they were chasing us. So that was how it happened. And then 1990, after that, 1994, maybe 4 years, 3 years after that, one day, when you want to write press release on State of the Nation, they will debate it very well. So we're there with some companies and we're debating State of the Nation. So he stood up and said, I want to tell you about the state of my heart. I said, what's wrong with this one? State of whose heart? We are talking about State of the Nation. He said, please, I'm in love with this girl. And she said the struggle is her life. What am I going to do? He said, no, sit down. Someone said, stand up at the end. Said, you know what? Let's give Nika 3 minutes to tell us why he wants to marry this girl. And Joe too will tell us why he married this one and not Nika. So anybody that defeats the other, if it's Joe, then you are married to the strong. If it's Nika, you must marry Nika. So we started debate. Oh, I want to marry her. I will be an addition. I will care. I will do time up. Joe, why I don't want to? Oh, okay. I said on myself, Nika has won. So that was how 2 years after that, 1997. So I think it was Punch. One of the newspapers wrote, "What IBB stroke Abacha has joined together. Let no one blah blah blah." So that was how it started. But the funniest thing was that I think up to a year after marriage, then we had a program in Papa at this Sonya's office. We have a press conference, and that was March 99, March 98. So 98, sorry, March 98. So I was feeling funny, and I was just wondering what's up. My mom came to visit us, and my mom said, "Let's go to the hospital." I said, "We have press conference 11 o'clock." But we got to the hospital like 10 minutes to 9. And the doctor said, "This is advanced labor." I said, "Labor? What is advanced labor?" "I have press conference." That Papa telling me at outlet that I have that this is advanced labor. So within 5-10 minutes, I just had a cry of my baby. Yeah. So he said, "Congratulations." I just went in, pegged the baby, and I left for Papa for a press conference.
After giving birth?
Yes, maybe 5 minutes after. So I just left the baby with Papa for the press conference. But nobody knew anything. And up to today, I call my calling comrade. Pastor Tunde Bakare will say, "Why are you always referring to him as comrade?" I say, "Yes, that's what I call him. That's his pet name anyway." So after the press conference, I came back. My mom, the doctor said, "Where did you go?" I said, "Please discharge me. There's nothing wrong with me." So that was how we met. We married, and we really struggled.
Well, I am very odd at something.
Yes.
Right now, you do programs, you invite the governor of one state, you invite the first lady of one state, you are going to meet this public office holder or the other. Now, Juju said something when he was on this show on Sunday. He said people who inherited the struggle were elements who did not participate. How did you and your generation allow people who did not inherit the struggle take the country from you? Now you are writing to do courtesy visit. People who were not there when you were sleeping in cell. Does that not hurt you?
Well, the thing really is that is a very painful thing. I remember during the time we're in struggle, and then after the annulment, then the junta came. Somebody like me, what I was just interested in, I was interested in book struggle. I never had any interest to participate in politics or in governance, but I always encourage those who want to. But the sad thing is that those who did not know much about the struggle inherited. But the fact is that in those days, when we were, when the battle was fierce, nobody would dare say, I want to invite one governor, invite one first lady, except very few of them that were within the pro-democracy movement, like Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the governor. He participated, at the forefront of the struggle. Baba Femi Owoyele that was also in the struggle. So the few people that participated, one will have few things to do with them. But now we find out that if we reconstruct events, there are some people that should even become relics of our historical past, but they are there at the front of governance. And that is why some of them do not even understand that it involves selfless service. Some people will say, the arrogance and the ego that, forget the fact that without the votes of people, they cannot be there. And they will think that they will be there forever. So we'll have programs at times, we want like gender violence, like our campaign, rape and harassment. I've even had cause I participated in a program where I had in Kuru, where I had a seminar for directors of DSS. And getting there, some of them were telling me, about 10, 11 of them, I said, this girl, you remember that time? They are not talk shots. So, but I still believe that apart from not directly being in governance, that there's a need for us to have synergy. But people will tell me that, Joe, would you ever want to contest either Senate? I tell them that anybody who wants to participate in governance, our organization can help the person look at the manifesto and everything. But my own passion is that I want to see a Nigeria that works in my lifetime. And whatever way to contribute, I won't always do that with the whole of, one. So a few people were in government. Some of them appointed us, and some of them forged ahead. So, but the thing is that a few that are there, they should know that history will be very, very harsh if they refuse to positively affect the lives of our people, and if they refuse to correct the anomaly in the system, if they are part of those who will continue to play us white, history will be very, very good to them.
Wow, tonight is really emotional for me, and I know for a lot of our people who are listening to this. Dr. Joe, or Reverend Joe, as I would love to call you. I think it was under Jonathan, they had a national conference.
Yes.
all that I read was that Odumakin's husband and wife have gone to national conference. They've collected 14, 40 million, 28 million. And so, because I didn't know all these stories about how each of you were individual, you were your own personality in the struggle, I didn't get to understand, the impression was different because now I understand better that you were an identity of your own. Mr. Yinka is an identity of his own in the struggle. So it's important that people understand all the stories that you were telling us. I wanted you to also tell us, was there any time during the struggle that you felt like giving up? Were you betrayed in the process?
Well, there were a series of betrayal, and just like you rightly said, Comrade Yinka at the Femi Owoyele University was student unionism. I was at the University of Ilorin, and then he was also with Chief Ganifa at the National Conscience Party. I was, doing my own thing. Who was doing his own thing, and he still doing his own. I'm also doing mine. But the thing really is that he went there on a platform of Afenifere and a platform of civil society group. That's how I went to the conference, and I consulted, my constituency, and a lot of times when people had to participate, after to also tell you, by the time he was to serve in Ogun State, that I was telling you, we had to analyze it. And at the end, I listened to our own superior argument. And after I was telling me, Dr. Joe, everybody cannot be like you, that, that she has made her own impact and she believes in that. And I know that up to today, people still say a few things that Absat has done in that government. So, coming to the question that you have asked me, what is the second question? You asked me about the national conference.
Have you been betrayed in the process? Were you betrayed? And were there times where you felt like giving up, like, nah, this is too much. Nigeria, I can't kill myself. Or were there times in the struggle that maybe the betrayal made you think, why am I doing all of this?
Yes, I remembered while I was in Kwara, I won't mention the person's name, but she's a top shot somewhere now. We're together, and each time, all the details of our meetings and all. So each time I'm arrested, they will bring the dossier. This is what you did. That's what you said. That I'll just be wondering. When I come out again, I will tell her, this is what I was told. Oh, she will say, it's also a person I'm suspecting. So one of the times that I was seriously beaten was the one that I told them that we are going to paste posters. In fact, I'm going to paste mine. I'll first paste mine at Sobi Barracks at the headquarters, police headquarters in the lorry. So he knew everything, not knowing that she sold the information out. So but one day, while I was in detention, while I was beaten, they have urinated on my head because I was hiding, pasting posters. And after beating, when one is slapped, when one is slapped by police, that's I have, because I can't count all the slaps I've received. So up till today, I still have problems with my eardrums. In fact, if I'm in an aircraft and we are descending, there's nothing I have to block my nose because of all the series of slaps I've received. So, wow. And I was beaten. She didn't know that I was already arrested. So I just saw somebody with one of the top shots here, and I was speaking at that through the video. That was the height of betrayal. So, but wow. I just felt that. So there are instances that one has been betrayed, but someone like me, I've never looked back, and I've never thought of the fact that I will give up. So that one is was a classical example. So there are different levels of betrayal. Even the time we're always meeting Akudirat Abiola's house, when there's an arrest, you know, one will be wondering, how did these people, although they were exaggerating most of this information, how did these people get? So after the whole thing, getting to know one or two persons, that were double agents, they were in the struggle, they were also eating from the other side. It was very, very painful to me. But I've never thought of the part of giving up the struggle. Even during the June 12th struggle, when several people were killed, more than 300 people, and I was shot on my leg. I even thought,
wow,
yes, I was shot on my leg, and so many people died. I knew I was still alive because I was still hearing tukum, tukum. When people are shot, they will feel like they are unconscious. But because I knew how to lie down with all those people that were shot, but when people have paid the price, when people have suffered, when each time, because I never had the opportunity of going to the hospital to treat my leg, I've never was just treated. My leg was just, with the saw that I had on my leg, I was arrested, detained as interceptor, and
wow,
thank God that the leg was healed. So the husband,
hallelujah.
yes, so a lot of things. I never knew that ulcer is a terrible, terrible, terrible ailment. When I'm detained at times, for me to go to the restroom, I remember the worst place that I was detained to go to the restroom, maggots, very dirty. You can put on slippers, so many there. So I prefer not to eat. At times I won't eat 6, 7 days. So but when ulcer, and at the end, when I came out from detention, I was just going through the ulcer until one day, miraculously, I just got healed. So I know and I strongly and firmly believe in God. So when there's a prayer, I just feel that, well, those people that died in the struggle, I'm not better than them. So if I'm still alive, I still have a second chance to be. There's no amount of betrayal that will make me want to look back.
Before I ask my final question, did you think that the Ekpetedo declaration was a wise decision by MKO? Did you support him in that decision? Should he have, was there another alternative at that time?
Military dictatorship. An election, before the election, we had up to 23 parties. Today, one will be found, tomorrow, other one will be found, and later on. In fact, then I refer to NRC and SDP as two parastatals because IBB just thought in his own wisdom that, well, you should have those two political parties. I'll tell you that with those two parties, and I never had faith in the military, but we just felt that let the election take place. And that day, he reigned, was free, fair, peaceful. In fact, because from all our state branches, we had the results. And so it was very, very easy to know who won the election. Then a tiny cabal unilaterally annulled the election. So after the annulment, there were a series of protests. MK Abiola, that was the symbol of that struggle. Although we lost the mandate, but MK Abiola, that Ekpetedo declaration was the best at that particular time. Also, knowing the implication that the moment such is declared, where you have military dictatorship, that person will go to jail. So that was a MKO. Even those who could not utter a single word in reference to the supreme price he paid. MKO is larger than them in death. MKO Abiola died for a collective struggle. He declared himself winner. And for those who betrayed him, history will never be kind to them. But for MK Abiola, best decision was that. And after that, I continue to remember what he told me that night, that a corpse cannot run away from the undertaker. So MK Abiola was detained, was incarcerated for about 4 years. And at the point, I remember all those times when we meet Chief Ganifayemi, you know, there's a Yoruba adage that death is better than being ridiculed. So when he writes him and says Chief Abiola, so a lot of people did not believe that MK Abiola will not be steadfast. So he declared himself as the president, and he went through the process of incarceration. He paid the supreme price. So we remember MK Abiola. We say thank you, MK Abiola, for your sacrifice. We say thank you, Kudirat, Alfred Ewani, all those people who died. We thank you. But MK Abiola, June 12 has been declared public holiday, and we still want, even with the GCFR that was given to MK Abiola, we still want a posthumous declaration of MKO Abiola as a past president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and let his portrait, anywhere you see all those portraits, let those portraits also be there. And then the setting of June 12 election results. We've really learned a lot from the sacrifice of MK Abiola. MK Abiola paid the supreme price. We never, ever forget President MK Abiola.
Thank you, man. So deep speaking to you, man. And thank you for even going, because I'm sure that when you remember those experiences, it also haunts you as a person. It brings back memories sometimes that you have eaten in places that you probably don't want to remember. But I want to leave the past. What is your advice? And this is my final question. What is your advice to young people? How do we build a Nigeria that works?
The young people should know that every generation has its vision or mission. Is you either fulfill it or betray it. And then one determination, where determination exists, failure can never dismantle the flag of success. I want our young ones to know that all the people that we are seeing today, a lot of them did very great things while they were young, with the passion, with determination. We don't have any other country except Nigeria. We always contribute positively if we want a Nigeria that works. Nigeria, a great country, is bleeding under the heavy weight of corruption. Is either we kill corruption or corruption us. Our youths, let all our youths realize that we don't have any other country except Nigeria, and let them learn to contribute positively to the growth and development of this country, so that history will be very, very kind to them. Let no one get depressed. Let no one suffer. I mean, a lot of people, Facebook, people will write me, I want to commit suicide. I have this problem. There's nothing in life that says life will always be rosy. At times there are problems. At times there are stumbling blocks. But I'm an incurable optimist. I'm so optimistic that with determination, I need to make it happen. And I know that government should be more responsive and responsible. These are the leaders of today. And so we must assist them so that our great country will get to that place of respectability. And I want to thank you, especially for the great work you are doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. You know, ma, it's hard not to be inspired, not to do great work when you look at those who have gone ahead of you. Two things I'm taking away tonight, and I'm holding back tears because it's painful when you look at the country that you guys have fought for and where we are today. It's really painful. And also the fact that a lot of, we're grateful to President Buhari, who has even gone ahead to recognize June 12th nationally, who has gone ahead to recognize Femi Owoyele and some of the people in the struggle. Great progress, and we're grateful to Ashwaju people for pushing that. But there needs to be more. There's a lot more of you that have paid that price that we must continually celebrate and recognize. Two things we are going to take away, man. I'm sure the same thing for all the people who are watching.
Yes, sorry, before you go, like this holidays that you are talking about, if we learn to imbibe that spirit of June 12th, that all our elections, let's make elections free, fair, and credible. We had a Muslim ticket. Nigerians put aside primordial interest and voted overwhelmingly for Muslim ticket. Let's ensure that we are not divided by religion or ethnicity. The lessons of June 12th are the lessons that we learn will be the one that will keep June 12th alive. So we must never forget those lessons and ensure that let's don't ballot with our blood. I mean, although elections is coming, Edo is coming, we have series of elections. Let us make all these elections peaceful. Let's make it free and fair. If any election is free and fair, we're not going to have lots of litigation like we had on June 12th. It's very, very important. And let's stop killing each other, please.
Thank you, Ma. You said, and I'm going to remember this for life. Every generation has its own mission. You either fulfill it or you betray it. And the one that is a blockbuster for all of us, every onlooker is either a coward or a traitor. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Joe. Okay. Odumakin.
My pleasure.
We wish you the best of God. And my own deepest desire tonight is that God will celebrate you in this nation in a way that you cannot comprehend. In Jesus' name. God bless you, man.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for your and nice comments. Femi Owoyele, Professor, so many of I've read so many comments. Ekon Gimona, thank you. I want to thank all of you. You are the reason why I do all this is stunning for me to do more.
Thank you so much, man. God bless you, man. Have a great day.